Hi, everybody. Rachel Tiede here with a look at your evening update here on YouTube right now. And these broadcasts designed to give you your top stories that you need to know, your weather update, and then some stories that we, as a news team, found a little bit interesting. So first, we want to start off with our story that we're covering tonight for News Channel 13, 9 and 11. Two women are charged in Felony Lane gang crimes in Colony, part of a network of people who have been causing some real problems for people. So let me bring in News Channel 13's Tessa Bentulan right now. Tessa, thanks so much for being with us here tonight to talk a little bit about the story that you are covering. So first, sort of lay the groundwork for us and then explain what you've been learning tonight.
Yeah, so, 2 days ago, we were told by North Greenbush Police and also Colony Police that there's something called the Felony Lane Gang. It happens every so often. It's not a new thing. It's been going on all across the East Coast. And now we're seeing it back again in the capital region. So for most people who might not know what this is, basically it's like a loose network of people is what police describe it as. And they go into unlocked cars, or if they see valuable items in cars, they'll break into. Usually they're looking for debit cards, credit cards, checkbooks, anything that they can take and use that to go into a bank lane through the drive-through and try and steal money. That's what they basically do. And so North Greenbush Police, and Colony Police have told us about this. Now here we are 2 days later, and two women are arrested. One of them actually, we're told, is homeless. And going into the story a little bit, we learned from Colony Police that they were on a high-speed chase with them and tried looking for them for over 90 minutes. And the reason that they knew that these two were the women was because someone from a local bank here actually called Colony Police and was like, hey, listen, this just happened at our bank at one of the drive-thrus, and she looks familiar to me, and I think she might be involved in some other activity involving other banks in the capital region, just so you guys are aware of this. They looked into us, went to the bank, and she already left with the other woman. And then they finally caught up to her. She didn't want to slow down. She kept going. They went on this chase. They found them in a woodsy area finally. And so we also, we'll get more into that tonight for shows at 9/11, more details on it. And then we also talked to just people in the neighborhood. We went to some parks around here asking people if they knew what Felony Lane Gang was. A lot of people didn't. And so this one guy actually was telling us, he said, it's messed up that someone would go into someone's car, break into somebody's car, take their possessions, especially like debit cards, and try to steal money. So we'll hear from more people tonight. You'll hear more about Felony Lane Gang, what the police are warning us about.
All right. So who did you interview for this piece tonight?
We interviewed two people. We interviewed just two everyday people, asked them if they knew about Felony Lane Gang. We tried getting in contact with Colony Police, but the lieutenant who's in charge of this is not there today. But they did send us a press release with all the information we need.
Interesting. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing your interviews because it sounds like a very interesting story and something that people need to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, because it affects everyone. Wherever you park, you can park at the gym, you can park at the grocery store. Just always be careful. And police have told us too, if you do have valuable items in the car, make sure to put them in the trunk of the car. But don't put them in the trunk of the car when you're already at the parking lot, because they can, thieves can seek you out when you're already there knowing you're putting in the trunk. So try to put it when you're already at your house before you leave.
Right. Interesting. Awesome. Well, Tessa Bentulan, thank you for joining us live from the newsroom in Edit Bay in the newsroom. Lovely. Well, we appreciate your time. We'll bring you back here in just a little bit for another segment that we're doing at the very end. But secondly, we also have some new information about a story that we first brought you breaking as last night. This is about a driver who hit a home in a dump truck. This was in Ashland in Greene County. What we know is that the driver was killed when this truck that she was driving crashed into a home yesterday, started a massive fire, happened in Route 23 in Ashland, Greene County. Police now confirm the driver, 37-year-old Cassandra McGill from Schenectady, lost control of the asphalt truck. Police say witnesses tried to rescue McGill, but she died at the scene. And we're also learning tonight more about the extended family that lived in two homes destroyed by the fire. So I do want to bring in News Channel 13's Taniqua Pennix, who was covering this story as breaking news last night. It was a very fluid situation. So tell us just a little bit about what you saw last night.
So like you said, it was very fluid. There were a lot of moving pieces. When we got there, it was night. It was 8:30. It was dark. The road was blocked off, and the crews on the scene were very helpful. But they told us we couldn't get far. And because it was so dark, we really couldn't see much.
Right.
You know, the lights were still going on, so we know crews were still on the scene. They were cleaning up everything. But unfortunately, with it being dark, we weren't able to get too close to the scene.
Right.
And, you know, all the issues we had, we were trying to get in touch with the sheriff's office to confirm the information that was out there, but we wanted to make sure that we got firsthand information from the sheriff's office. So I'm actually really glad that Stella was able to get on the scene today,
Yes.
talk to family members, and really show us
Yes.
what that scene looked like, because that was one thing that we were missing last night. But
Yes.
like you said, there was a lot of moving pieces. We didn't get there until 8:30.
Yes.
The road was blocked off and it was very, very dark.
Yes.
But you could still see sirens going off. So
Absolutely.
it was very much an active scene.
And I mean, a little bit of inside baseball too. So when we have these backpacks that are called live views, and so they allow us to have a live signal, and you guys, I mean, that's a hard area to get a live view signal. So we tried to get you live in the 9 o'clock and it just did not work.
We had no signal. We actually had to drive over to a town over, and a police officer stopped us and was like, you know, this is the wrong town. We're like, we know, but this is the only area where we had signal.
Right.
So it was a lot of moving pieces. It was definitely difficult. Did Stella have the same issue today with trying to get service?
She did, yes, because so last night we were able to get that information confirmed through a dispatcher finally, just to clarify. But then, yes, Stella did. She pre-recorded something because I don't think they had signal either. So
we were holding the live view in the air. We were walking around. There was
very challenging.
No signal in that area. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Taniqua, for being here as well to explain your side of the story.
Yes.
More, of course, coming up as well. But moving on, we want to move on to our next story here. And this one is about the January 6th committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots held. This was the third public hearing today. Today, hearings reveal new details about the former president's plan to overturn the election. That's including the pressure that his campaign put on former Vice President Mike Pence to do that, despite the vice president not having the authority to do what they wanted. So we've been streaming these stories on our website every single day at WNYT.com. So if you want to watch them for yourself, head to our website, and you are able to do that to your heart's content. Also, mortgage rates have been a huge story lately. We touched on this briefly yesterday when that interest rate went up, but today we're learning more about mortgages in particular. Mortgage rates continue to soar, rates by more than 0.5 percentage point this week amid rising inflation and an interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve, like I just mentioned. The jump is the largest one-week increase since 1987. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage now 5.78%. Rates have risen sharply since January, pushing the cost of financing of a home up significantly. So if you're in the market for something like that, just something to keep in the back of your mind, because this will impact you directly, especially. But now, of course, in the weather world, we're tracking a lot of things happening. There were storms off to our west. They're dying down a bit as they head into our area. I'm going to bring in Paul Cayano, who's going to explain what you can expect tonight.
Showers and some embedded thunderstorms will move through the region in a weaker state as we get deeper into the evening, on their way out overnight tonight. Notice partial clearing. Tomorrow, perhaps a passing shower as we go through the morning and early afternoon, but the trend will be for more sunshine by the end of the day Friday, pushing us into the lower 80s, then bigger changes with a change toward much cooler air for the weekend. 65 tonight with evening showers and storms, becoming partly cloudy, staying mild overnight. 82 on Friday with that breeze. And look at the weekend. Saturday, only 65. Father's Day, Juneteenth on Sunday, only 70, well below normal by 10 to 15 degrees. A gradual warm up back through the 70s and toward 80 by the middle of next week.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. Well, I've brought back Tia here. We're also going to bring in Tessa for our last chat of the evening. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's try this. There we go. As we talk about I think Tessa might be muted. There we go. Tessa, can you hear us?
Want me to talk? Oh, how rude.
Well, we're going to talk about this last story that we have here. And this is about beekeepers. There's an interesting story that popped into our mailbox today. New York, one of the best states for beekeepers, which I thought kind of interesting. I expected maybe the southern states to be one of the best spots, but ranks second, actually, when it comes to the best places for bees, and it ranks first in honey output, which really surprised me. I mean, was that something that you expected, Tia?
I didn't expect it, but we went to the farmer's market not too long ago.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I got some honey
Yes.
from, local farmers here. And I can say the honey is amazing and it's helped out with my allergies a lot. So I'm surprised, but not just because that honey was so amazing that we just
Yes.
had.
You're surprised but grateful.
Grateful, yes.
Tessa, are you a honey eater connoisseur?
I do love honey. I put it on my oatmeal a lot. Or I put it like on bread with like banana and like peanut butter. So good. But it was fun. It's funny that like you mentioned it with like New York being one of the best places to be a beekeeper. Or like keep bees, whatever the best terminology is. I don't really know too much about bees. But when I was looking into like my milk story that I did the Whole Truths a couple weeks ago, they said New York was one of the top states for farmers, dairy farmers. And they said it had to do with like the weather and like the temperature here. So I wonder if that kind of plays into the beekeeping too. If it has to do with like the weather not being too hot or not being too cold most of the year. So I don't know, maybe they could do with the weather.
Wow. Well, for this next YouTube newscast, we should bring in a beekeeper and he can explain the science of it for us.
Bring some bees with them, or get us some honey at least.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, I love a good honey. The other interesting fact from this is I pull up this full screen again. The state ranks first in earning potential, which obviously a big factor for beekeepers is that's kind of one of the main goals, I would imagine. But again, interesting. I expected southern states. I expected maybe the Midwest. I did not expect New York, but
and I would think too, because it's so cold. Like you said, I thought it was a southern thing. I didn't know bees thrive in this type of weather.
You mentioned the farmers market too. When we were there, we were at the Troy farmers market, a bunch of us from News Channel 13, and there were so many stands with honey. Like we were bouncing from stand to stand, like which one do we like the best?
Right. I forgot about that, but it was so many different options.
Yes.
I finally picked one that was actually great. I don't remember
milk.
the name, but there were a lot of honey people out there.
Yeah,
so that makes sense now that we actually have the facts.
Right. What did you say, Tessa?
I said that and goat milk. It was like at the farmers, which I'm not complaining. It was like every other like station or table was like anything related to like honey or like chapstick with like honey infused in it. And then like something with goat milk. It was like so cool to see so many different vendors for just like those two niche markets.
Yes. And again, we are grateful for the allergy.
So
helps us with the allergies because it is #rough out here. So anyway, that is our show tonight. This has been 13 Now with Rachel Tiede. Taniqua Pennix joined us to talk a little bit about the things that she has covered. Tessa Bentulan working on her story for tonight. You'll hear more from the people she interviewed regarding these arrests that have been made in Colony. In the meantime, we hope everybody has a wonderful evening and we'll see you here tomorrow.